What's up, everybody? I wanted to talk about something. So, like, there's like this thing I keep hearing, which is like, this. How? So I remember, I know the context of this. How did this happen again? Like, it was I know it became like a huge news too because I saw that in Japan too. It was like a you on it. How did this happen? I forgot. Because of Trump. Yeah, what was the context actually? What was the context? I forgot what that was. Wasn't that like he said something like oh yeah, Islamic State of Japan, whatever kind of thing? Japan by okay, yeah, okay. Because I remember that actually became a huge thing in Japan too. People were sharing that in Japan, and I was like, interesting. I kind of forgot the actual like context, so I just wanted to ask you guys. But either way, so that's not the point today. The point today is how I guess gaijins don't belong. So I'm actually a huge fan of Nobita, the Japan reporter. His name used to be Fine Love in Japan, I think. And I'm actually a huge fan of him because he actually does amazing videos where he talks about very interesting things. And then, so I found this video uploaded by him. When I Ubered Domino's in Japan, it cost us 5,000. Domino's are expensive here. But thank you so much for the donation. Uber Eats itself is expensive if you use that too. Like, if you actually just go to the pizza restaurant and order pizza there, and that's only like $10 actually. So, and either way, so yeah, gaijin don't belong, which I thought was really interesting because I know it's for like a click-through rate, but I when I saw that I couldn't stop smiling. I was like, oh, that's sudden. But let's see what this is all about, and I'm gonna talk about what I know about Japan from my perspective too, so that I guess like there's gonna be like a new perspective too, right? Let's see. That's why it's expensive. You used Uber Eats. I always pick up pizza. You guys know Uber Eats is basically 2 times more expensive, right? By the way, wait, hold on. Before working on this video, before watching this video, you guys know Uber Eats is legit 2 times more expensive than actually getting the food yourself. You know, you are aware of that, right? Some people think Uber Eats is like some convenient thing where you can just get food for like, you know what I mean? Don't use it. Yeah, if you didn't know, that's really interesting because like that's obvious. Just go to Uber and just try to buy something. It's like literally 2 times more expensive if you do it. Yeah. Delivery is a service. The thing is here, let me explain something. If you go to Uber Eats, the prices are different there in the first place. And I'm not talking about like delivery fees or one thing. Like, let's say if they sell a hamburger for $5 on Uber Eats, they sell it for $8. And then there's like delivery fees and whatever too, so it ends up being $10. It's not only Japan, by the way. It's the same everywhere. Yeah, they increase the base price. So like if you ever use Uber Eats and if you are literally like 10 minutes away from the restaurant, you're willingly getting scammed. And yeah, I thought everybody knew about this, but then recently I figured out that not every restaurant. Yeah, there are some restaurants like who don't like that don't do it, but it's like 90% of like Uber Eats actually. Unpopular opinion. Yeah, so if you guys ever use Uber Eats and if you ever think something is expensive, then you can actually go to a restaurant and then compare the prices and you will figure out something really, really interesting. Because that's something I figured out when I first downloaded Uber Eats. But then, you know what, like if you just download Uber Eats and search McDonald's and then look for a Big Mac there and then go to a McDonald's, an actual McDonald's, and then see how much it is. The price difference is like a 1.5 times, and then delivery fees. So everything all together, the difference will be 2 times. So if you're buying something for $10 at McDonald's, for example, it can be $20 if you order it, right? So yeah, I don't know. I really thought everybody knew about this. If I order here in Australia, it's only 2,020 USD. Thank you so much for the donation. 20 AUD is more like a 3,000 yen, I want to say. But let me actually say something here. I'm pretty sure you used Uber Eats, right? If you even use like their delivery service, it's like somehow like a lot cheaper too. Cause like their delivery service, even like Domino's is like if I'm not wrong, that's like 300 yen. Cause I did that before on stream, and that was like 1,700. So I really feel like you used Uber Eats, which is like insanely expensive. So you kinda just went for something expensive yourself willingly. That's what it sounds like, honestly. Domino's in Japan has free delivery. I actually didn't know that. I thought it was like 300. But I just remembered it was like not that expensive. But either way, if you go get it like yourself, it's like literally 1,500. That's what I noticed. Either way, so let's just actually watch this video and let me talk about what I know about this situation from like a normal Japanese person's perspective. You guys ready? Does Uber exist in Chiba? Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, thank you so much for the donation. There's like that too, and I know that you guys didn't hear anything, so let me just fix it too. But yeah, I don't know. If you guys are ever in Japan and if you're trying to use Uber Eats in Japan, especially in Japan, that makes no sense because there are restaurants and whatever everywhere, like everywhere. So if you're ever traveling to Japan, if you're trying to use it in Japan, Uber Eats in Japan, that makes no sense. Okay.
Many expats go back to their country soon, but not necessarily because they are disliking Japan.
Living in Japan has so many positives, so many great things. There's a lot of foreigners, I think, feel that they leave Japan because they have to, but they don't want to.
Here is one of the reasons.
Feel that they leave Japan because they have to, but they don't want to.
Here is one of the reasons. Japan starting to strictly enforce tax compliance and failing to pay the social insurance or pension is gonna risk your visa or permanent residency revoked. So you got to continuously pay that no matter what. But as you go back to your country sooner or later, you are not gonna become beneficiaries and maybe feeling that you've wasted a lot of money. Many expats I talk to claim that it doesn't really benefit Japan either. Since many foreign workers come and go so quickly, we have to frequently educate them from scratch. Not to mention that short-term residents are less likely to have a strong bond or patriotism to the country, and eventually it could cause less.
I never know that cycling deliver. It is, yeah. It is. Yes.
I never know that cycling deliver is an option. In China, it almost dominated by moped or motorcycle.
Some people that like to cycle in Japan, they just do the like riding a bicycle too. Well, thank you so much for the donation too.
Cohesion or unity. So today, let's talk about why so many foreign residents go back to their country so soon and what could be done to prevent that.
Belonging, family.
First of all, when it comes to work, if you are paid
that's
by
way too loud. Let me actually change that actually. I've been thinking there's like something wrong with the sound, but I'll just fix it later.
a Japanese company and Japanese yen, it feels like you are getting smaller pay or residence tax.
Dude, actually, can I talk about this? Yen got even weaker. And do you guys know like how much money Japanese people get a month now in dollars? Dude, like it shocks me now. Wait, so how? Where are you guys from actually? Which country are you guys from? Watching this. Recently, something crazy can happen. Yeah, 162, which is insane. USA. If a lot of people here are from the States, dude, Japan is insanely cheap. It got even cheaper. Like insane. It is like truly insane. Hong Kong, Singapore, China. I'm actually curious if Chinese people, like Japan's like cheap or not. Ibaraki, work with US companies remotely. Okay, so I'm assuming you get paid in dollars too, right? Dude, so Japanese yen right now is like 162 yen. And it changes like a lot too. Like it was actually 161 yesterday at some point, if I'm not wrong, because I was actually checking that too. So like for example, in Tokyo, people usually get like a 30万yen, this, right? So then that's not even like $2,000 anymore. That's like hold on, let me just do some calculation here. So that's literally $1,851 a month in Tokyo on average. I'm like, wow. So I used to say like, oh yeah, in Tokyo people get $3,000 a month, and then yen got weaker. So then I started saying like, oh yeah, people in Tokyo make $2,000 a month, and now I have to say, yeah, people in Tokyo make $1,851 a month. Isn't it insane?
So Sora is getting rich and richer by citing there.
Actually, yes and no, both. Because the economy itself is like not really doing well, I guess. So people don't want to spend money. So yeah, I kind of felt it too. And because of like how everything is like changing, especially with like AI and whatever, I do definitely get a lot of like less work offers recently too. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm getting richer, honestly. It's more that I make US dollars being in Japan, so I do get some benefits from it too. At the same time, yeah, it's a weird economy because like I used to get more job offers before, like 2 years ago, but now a lot less, right?
Start to look at it from the perspective of those that are living here in Japan, it's the resident tax. The purchasing power of what I have is like a fraction of what it was before.
As the yen has been weaker so much, a lot of Japanese companies are losing foreign talent.
めちゃくちゃ優秀な人で、大概やっぱり給料の高いところに取られちゃうわけですよね。国内ではサイボウズがトップなんですね。日本国内では海外は苦戦してます。マイクロソフトとグーグルさんだったりするわけですよ。提示される給料がうちの倍ぐらいあるわけですよ。ってなった時に
I have no frame of reference. Is 60,000 yen a month in Tokyo for a share house social residence expensive? It sounds about right to me. I don't know how many people you live with, but in Tokyo, and if you're like sharing, if you're in a share house, then isn't that how much it is usually? It can be like, yeah, 70,000, 60,000, right? Basically $400 in Tokyo.
給料例えば年収100万上げるから残ってくれって言われても何言うてんねんたった100万ぐらいみたいな話にこう極端にはなってしまうわけで、日本企業みんなそうなんですけどね、お金で人を引き止めるってことはもう多分できないと思うんですよね。
But even...
Do you guys ever want to live in Japan now, by the way? I'm actually curious. I want to know what you guys think now. Because like, you know how the trend of like, oh, I want to go to Japan was like a thing like last year, if I remember it right. Yes? Why though, actually? Doubting. I live in Japan not liking it. Why though, actually? I'm kind of curious about like all the perspectives. My holiday working visa. America's gay. Cheaper there than in America, maybe. I want to work in Japan. I ended up here. It was never the plan though. We had a kid, didn't want to raise the children in the USA. Yeah, if you're America, then America is kind of tough right now too, right? Primarily because I like the culture and the people. So if I move to Japan, can I be your housemate? Depending on what kind of things you can do for me. But thank you so much for that too. Have to travel to Tokyo from Higashomiya. It's hot sun and crowded trains. Higashomiya. Huh. Leave the US, but everywhere sucks right now. Yeah, maybe. Because that's just situations too. Wait, so the thing is, you guys want to like live in Japan, right? Is it because your country is not doing well, or is it because you like Japan? Like, so say one if you just don't like your country, so you want to come to Japan. Say two if you just want to live in Japan because Japan is like your dream country. I'm kind of curious. And people saying one, you're probably from America. I want to live in Japan because I like Japan, but the salary is low. Let me actually talk about something here. Let me just pay you. So this is like a great example here. You know, everybody, this is something I talk about on stream like once a while, but this is something I have to talk about. So he says here, let me explain. This is something I want you guys to know. I want to live in Japan because I like Japan, but the salary is low, right? So I want to ask you guys something. Is the salary low in Japan? What do you think, everybody? Is it low in Japan? Is it low in Japan? What do you think? Low? Yeah. So the answer is obviously the salary in Japan's low compared to what country? Yeah. Depends on where you are. No, the thing is like it's low. It's 100% low. Like let's say if you can get like let's say $2,000 in America, you can get $2,000 in Japan, you can get $4,000 in America. Yeah. But then not enough for a living. That's the key here. So the thing is, compared to America, you know how Americans make like literally 3 times more than Japanese people? Because the average pay in, let's say, California, I heard is like it's like $5,000 or something. If I'm wrong, let me know. I just read an article. So America, California, right? And Tokyo, as I just said, people usually make like a 30万円, which is like a 300,000, which is now this in Tokyo, right? So yeah, Tokyo, like for example, we definitely have like a lower salary. That's for sure. Let me talk about something. How much is your rent, everybody? How much is your rent? Tell me, how much is your rent? Living sky high, yeah. I brought up California because we are comparing that to Tokyo, right? Most of America, yeah. But again, we are talking about Tokyo here too, right? 2K, 850 USD, 2,000. Okay, 2,000, 1,300. 1,300 for a cheap ass place. Let me actually talk about something. If you're in Tokyo and if you're like living by yourself, the rent is actually $700 in Tokyo. In Tokyo. And that's like relatively a nice place too. $700. If you want to find like an actual like dog shit place that's actually so bad in Tokyo, that's $500. Like that, this is like that's kind of like a dog shit place in Tokyo. If you can find like an even more dog shit place where like you actually don't see like anything fire, that's $300. Yeah, that's possible for like you by yourself, right? In California, I'm gonna talk about California here because we are comparing that to Tokyo, right? I don't know if that's possible. If you want a family, yeah, if you want a family, then it changes. In Tokyo, right? In Tokyo, if you want a family, at least this much. At least this much. This is like the minimum in Tokyo. But the thing is, like, if you want a family, I kind of think it's better to get a house outside of Tokyo. That's what I believe. $700 per month, yeah. So for example, I have like this house too. And in Chiba, in my place, let me actually talk about something too, because a lot of you guys are curious about how it works too. So let me just talk about something. 物価高っていうか、そのなんか日本の給料が低いと思ってる人たちがいて、そうなんだけど、でも日本の方が安いよねって。So Tokyo's here, right? And Chiba's here. That's Chiba. That's literally 30 minutes away. 30 minutes away. And there are cheap houses here that are from $500 a month, right? Just because it's called Chiba, the price goes down a lot because people want to live right next to like all the fireplaces in Tokyo. But then, if you're in Chiba, Saitama, like Koshigaya, or like even Kanagawa's kind of expensive. So, second capital, Kanagawa maybe. So what I wanted to say is, yes, the salary is like lower here, but at the same time, the cost of living is like freaking so cheap here. Dude, if you have $200 a month, you can basically eat so much without like worrying about anything. That's definitely a thing. If you can get like $1,850 a month in Japan, you can do so much. Especially if you're by yourself. If you have a family and stuff, then it's a different problem, right? But what I wanted to say is, for example, in America, the size of California is basically this. That's what California looks like, right? Los Angeles is basically this size. So if you're thinking about LA, that's literally Tokyo and Chiba. I've been kind of thinking like, フェイバリットや千葉はいいと思うけどね、俺は全然。どうだろう ?2,000 for one person is good. If you want to live in Japan and if you want to survive in Japan, it's more than enough. And that's like definitely possible. In America, that's almost impossible, I heard. Like $1,850, you cannot do anything. But just because, again, the salary is like lower here, but the cost of living here is like way lower too. Dude, everybody, how much do you pay for your bills? Like water, electricity, everything. How much is it a month? How much is it? Osaka's way cheaper, yeah. Yes. Osaka's way cheaper. How much are your bills? Like water, electricity, gas, everything. $400? $100, okay. 150? 2,300? 3,000. Okay, so let me actually talk about something. I blast AC in my room all the time, and I have my PC on usually. The bills for me were like 17,000 円だから it's like $110, right? $110. Blasting AC all the time. And I have my PC on 24/7, and then it's like $110. So then in Chiba, rent is like on average it's like $500, right? But you don't rent, right? This place is actually rented, so it's like $500 rent, right? And then another $110. So then if you have $610, you can actually pay for your rent and your bills. You know what I mean? And food. If you just want to survive, if you don't eat out like every day, $200 is more than enough. You know what? You can actually live comfortably for literally $900. And isn't that insane to you? That includes like bills and housing and food. Isn't that insane? Survive, as in like comfortably surviving. And $900 for people like that are watching this, that are in Japan, that's about like 16万, 15万 in Chiba. That's more than enough. You can do so much here. Yeah, like 160,000 yen in Chiba, that's definitely doable. Maybe you cannot save up if you live like that though. Maybe you cannot live. What about transportation? If you work for a company and if you have to like, you know, like let's say take trains and whatever, they will cover that. That's the thing here. I don't know if that's like how it is in like your country, everybody, but in Japan, if you work for a company in Tokyo from Chiba, they have to cover your train fees. Like it's covered. That's how it works here. If they don't do it, then that's another problem too. So what I wanted to say is yes, the salary here is definitely lower. It's so much lower compared to America. Really? Yes. Talk to any people like that live in Tokyo and take trains. Why does everybody take trains? Because it's covered by the company. Like you can take trains without paying for it. And that's kind of why, again, trains are crowded all the time. Because it's free. If you drive and stuff, then there's going to be like other fees and they usually don't cover that. So that doesn't just work, right? But yeah, anyways, medical bills. Medical bills, it changes depending on like what you do, but so the insurance here changes too. If your salary is like really, really low, the medical bills, the insurance here is actually 2,000 yen a month, which is like $13 a month, I think. If your salary is like really, really low. And if your salary is like really, really high, like, you know, if you make more than like $60,000 a year, then your insurance is like $550 a month. So it changes from like $13 to $550, right? And then after that, like people here go to like the dentist and go to the doctor like almost every day because it's that cheap. Dude, I brought Kikso, the Mexican guy. I brought Kikso to a doctor. You know how much it was? for him to like see the doctor and get like medicines. It was literally $10. Even I went like, wow, that's cheap. He went like, wow, that's cheap. I didn't know like it can be that cheap. And I welcome to memberships. I was like, wait, $10? Yeah, I was like, what the it was insane for me. Like, so, you know, we had to go to the doctor. We saw the doctor, and then the bill, it said like a $7, like $7. And I was like, sure, that's not sure. Like, that sounds about right. And then we had to get medicines too with the prescription, right? And it was actually 900 yen. So, and it was actually $4. So total, it was like $11. Literally the medicines, he got medicines for like his headache, which is basically a painkiller. I'm thinking it was like a acetaminophen. That, and then something for his nose because his nose was like so stuffed, and his throat was dead. Right, everything, all together was $4. I went like, that's insane. Even I went like, that's actually insane. So yeah, what I wanted to say is yes. The salary here is like a lot lower if you're comparing Japan to like, let's say the West, including Europe and Japan, and America. But the cost of living here is like so cheap that you don't have to like think about it like much. Like, for example, do you guys know how much it is to like, do you know how much the phone bill here is usually? Can you guess? Yeah, how much do you pay for your phone, by the way, a month? Can you guys tell me? How much do you pay for your phone a month? 20? 60? Okay. 40? Let me talk about something. I'm gonna show you guys something really, really insane. Is it so? Do you guys use unlimited data or no? Or is there like a limit to it? $30 plan. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Unlimited or not unlimited? Internet or cellular phone, 5G, 4G. I'm talking about your phone. No? Okay. Let me talk about something. In Japan, there's this thing that offers 5G, 4G both, unlimited data. You can call any phone numbers with the fixed price for literally 2,880 yen. If you're in Japan, you know it. You know like what this is. This is Rakuten. Everybody knows about this. How much is this? That's $17, $18. You can call any phone numbers. You can use the internet without any limit, 5G included. That's literally $18, right? So then, now you know, like, wow, yeah, right. The salary in Japan is low, but the cost of living is insanely low. So you guys kind of don't think about this, right? Because like, again, you guys think about like how much you have to pay for food and whatever, but then you kind of forget about how much things are here. So what's happening to the people here is like, again, like people here are kind of struggling too because the economy is like not doing well even for Japanese people. But what I wanted to say was, if you think about how much money you have to pay for it, dude, it's so easy. Just the inflation. Yeah, inflation's hitting Japan so hard now too. Yes. Doesn't rural Japan practically give houses away for free? That's something you hear on the internet, but that actually is not possible. Because if you live there, there's nothing else. Which means you have to literally take trains for 2 hours to work, or there's like no jobs there in the first place, especially for foreigners, because they usually just like do, you know, like they just grow rice and whatever usually in those areas too. So those houses are for older people that just want to stay away from everybody. It's not practical for any people like that just want to live in Japan. But anyways, let me just go back to the video. I wanted to talk about how living in Japan, or like you know, things in Japan are actually so much cheaper compared to you guys, right? But you know what I mean.
Bigger issue when it comes to work might be the lack of opportunity or development on your career in Japan. Let's say a company got two candidates. Even if the foreign one's more capable skills-wise, they'd rather hire the Japanese one in most cases. Not simply because they don't want to take care of that, but based on the assumption that your Japanese would be worse, and you are not gonna function well in the business culture.
Actually,
even
let
if
me,
you got to
dude, let me actually talk about something here. So yeah, you know how you just saw the case of like a Japanese person, like here. A Japanese person was hired and the foreigner was rejected because they didn't want to sponsor their visa, right? Let me talk about something. This whole thing changes if you're married to a Japanese person. Do you know why? If you have a Japanese wife, Japanese husband, the difficulty goes down a lot suddenly. 今吉見さんが言ってる。ああ、気まずい。気まずい。吉見さん気まずい。またなんか視聴者がどのコーナー言ってきちゃう。気まずい。気まずい。You stay in Japan? Because if you marry to a Japanese person, you get this visa called a spouse visa, right? If you have a spouse visa, there's like no limits as to what you can do. So the companies don't have to worry about your visa status or like your whatever. They would actually hire you in that kind of situation. I've seen some people who actually did that here. So I just wanted to say that like if you got riz and if you can riz a Japanese girl, Japanese guy, and if you can get married and if you get the visa that way, usually like you kind of notice like how things just kind of get easier. Yeah, a little easy. It's really how it is. I've seen some people doing that, and that's kind of why I'm talking about this. I know a girl who marries to a Japanese guy. She has the spouse visa. Right after she actually used to live in Japan, like, you know, like under working visa too. Then she had to do whatever and this and that. It was kind of tough, right? That's obvious. But if you get married to a Japanese person, if you get the spouse visa, that limit is suddenly gone. Thus, right? But yeah, it's kind of obvious, but I just wanted to kind of talk about it here too, because some people don't know about this, right?
join a company that fits your work style, the chance you're gonna move up the career in that company might be quite small.
If you want an actual career where you're going to have advancement in salary and benefits.
But even with the spouse visa, wouldn't you still needs to have lived in Japan for at least 1 year and married for 3 in order to get permanent residency? If you have spouse visa, you can get anything. And I still want you to kind of think about how crazy it is to be able to get permanent residency just because you were married to a Japanese person after 3 years. In what countries, like, that's a thing. Like, Japan's like one of the craziest countries ever. Because you just have to stay married to a Japanese person, and then suddenly you can get this thing called PR, permanent residency. Isn't that crazy? But they're gonna change it soon. They're gonna make it like 5 years. Like, I don't know if there are any other countries like where you can get PR that easily. Japan's insanely easy when it comes down to that. So they are like trying to change it to 5 years.
Benefits, be able to move up the chain of command into management, etc. It's really hard to do that as a foreign resident. Many foreign residents leave for career prospects.
上り切るっていう選択肢がほとんど狭められてほとんどなくなってしまう。収入的には40ちょっと超えぐらいでこう頭打ちになってくるっていうところ。
US is the same thing. It's 3 years in the States too, really?
があってでこれを今なんとかしなきゃいけないのかな。
If your career or salary is not gonna move up at some point, it can be really hard to support your family here, especially if you wanna send your kids to international school, which is more expensive than public one.
I think raising any children in Japan is difficult at the moment because of rising prices, and the people that I've met who've got married in Japan to a Japanese person and moved to another country because the husband, their pay packet can be better in their own home country. And 3 to 5 years, I think, is the hot spot of foreigners living in Japan, enjoying Japan, and then going back to their own country before it's too late to get a serious job in their own country. Getting a decent job with a good trajectory is much more likely.
So you know, like
in
how
your own...
the price increase is a thing here, right? So let me talk about something. Yes, the inflation hit Japan so hard to the point where things are 2 times more expensive. Isn't that crazy? But that's like what's happening to everybody here. But let me talk about something here. So things are 2 times more expensive, I said, right? So I want to talk about something. This is something I wanted to talk about because, again, it's way too crazy that everybody has to know about this. Yeah, so again, I just said like, oh yeah, things just became like 2 times more expensive, but that's what's happening to like all the countries too, right? What if I told you, still, like if you wanted to get some like a fire ramen, that's about 1.5 times more expensive. What if I told you this like one fire ramen, right, is still 1,000 yen, which is $7. When it was, again, maybe like $5 before. What if the inflation, even though inflation hit Japan, still things are still insanely expensive compared to other countries? You know what I mean? Because if you wanted to get like sushi and whatever, you know how much it is, like sushi and like ramen are outside of Japan, right? Still less than, yeah. Dude, actually, can I talk about something? If you wanted to get sushi, like let's say 1 plate, right? 1 plate and 2 pieces of sushi. Like let's say there's like a kura in America, kurazushi. How much is it usually? This. How much is like 1 dish? 1 plate. 2 pieces of sushi. How much is it? $4.25, yeah. So 3 to 4, okay, yeah, maybe something like that too. So in America, like that's how much it is. I don't know, like in other countries. In the States, maybe like 3 to 4, which is like about now like 480 yen, or like I guess $3, right? Maybe. In Japan, that exact thing is I think it's like 120 yen now, right? 120 yen, which is 70 cents. So the price difference is like insanely different. Even though again inflation hit Japan and it definitely got expensive, but still compared to what you guys are going through, like it's still insanely cheap, yeah. And that's what I know. Like yeah, inflation in Japan is like actually like it's insane too. Things got more expensive, but compared to the world, I don't know. I still kind of think like everything is like so much cheaper, and that's because I went to America too, and then I was like, wow, that's insane, right? It's now 480 from 120. No. 480 is how much you have to pay in America. 120 is how much we have to pay in Japan. It used to be like 100 yen before, but yeah, it kind of got expensive too.
Country rather than staying in Japan.
Even if you are okay with a stagnant salary and career, you might be
Except beef. You know, like even beef, if you wanted to get, you know what, just because you talked about it, I'm gonna freaking talk about something here too. How much is beef in Japan? Like if you wanted to get like yakiniku, like a Japanese barbecue, how much is it, everybody? How much is it? Can you guess? Like if you wanted to get like this barbecue, you know, that looks something like I guess this, how much is it? Can you guess? Like so much meat, all you can eat rice. You can get like as much as rice you want, right? Yeah, beef is expensive, isn't it, everybody? Right? That's what we know about. What if I told you, if you can get like literally here 300 grams of meat with all you can eat rice, 300 grams of meat, that's still $14. And you know what I mean? Like there's this concept where people look at like beef, but then they look at this thing called wagyu, like Kobe wagyu. They talk about the top-notch wagyu somehow, and that's still the same thing. And this thing is really fire too. So what I wanted to say is like, yeah, inflation hit Japan. Like this used to be actually like a 1,000 yen before. It used to be a lot cheaper, but still like it's a lot cheaper compared to what you guys are going through, right? Once a week, yeah, it's definitely possible. Like eating out once a week might be hard in a lot of countries too, but it's definitely like doable in Japan, yeah. So one of the worst things here with deflation in Japan is Japanese-made guitars. Maybe that might be actually a thing for sure, yeah. But what I wanted to say is, as much as like people think like, oh yeah, but that thing is expensive, except for fruits, I still think Japan's really cheap. And it's definitely possible to save up in Japan too. Like, let's say I'm gonna talk about America. It's impossible in America to save up. You cannot do it anymore. I don't know how you guys can save up like you. I don't know how you guys are getting prepared for your retirement. I really feel like it's impossible.
Constantly anxious about your visa, as it seems unpredictable and uncertain, especially nowadays. And because your visa affects everything in your life, whether it's employment or dating, it's really hard to plan your life.
I find that most foreigners who come here, they do not have their life figured out. There's constant visa issues, and at any given moment, they can essentially lose their visa and then be sent back to their home country.
In certain industries, you can get
When I was in Japan for a few months, I eat out every day. That's how cheap I viewed Japan.
Especially if you get like American dollars. If you have American dollars, yes, Japan is still like that cheap. It's kind of interesting because like Japan used to be that expensive country, but now Japan isn't that different from like Thailand or like Vietnam or Philippines. Like we are not that different. Like so Thailand used to be like that cheap country for Japanese people before. Not anymore. Like it's kind of on par now. Like, there's some YouTubers like that went to Thailand recently too. Like, obviously, like a lot of things are cheap too. But is it that cheap anymore for Japanese people? Maybe not anymore. Yeah. So, what about Euro? If you have Euro, that's the same thing too. Because like the West is just so expensive, and Japan's kind of cheap. Japan became basically like that cheap country recently. Like, within like after COVID hit, right?
a 1 year or a 3 year visa, and most people don't seem to understand why they are given a 1 year or a 3 year. It seems kind of random.
It's very difficult to plan a life for people who may not know where they're going to be 3 years from now.
I'm sure this is not just Japan, but many foreign residents might be feeling so frustrated as it's taking too much time.
We definitely need more people to process those applications because all the processes here, especially Tokyo, gets really slow. We are still waiting for...
I heard somebody applied for like a permanent residency and it took like 20 months for them to get back the result or something. And I'm like, Sendai worth living? For me, no. For you, is it? Maybe? I don't know. What do you think? For me, no, because I want to live around Tokyo. Like, I have to go to Tokyo like once a week, maybe. Or every 2 weeks. So, yeah. For me, no.
Or the results that we applied last year. Permanent residence application can take 1.5 and 2 years. You know, like if you apply for work visa, you have to make the employment contract first. You go into the interview, you get the job offer, job contract confirmed, then you can apply for the visa. Imagine it takes 6 months until finally you can start working. 6 months, you cannot do anything. You have to wait for the visa result. At the same time,
What's your opinion about katakana English?
My katakana English, like what? So basically Japanese English. What's my opinion about Japanese English? Cool. Thank you so much for the donation, but I don't know what you mean. What do I think about Japanese English? Cool. They sound like anime characters. They sometimes sound like they are about to Rasengan. They really sound like one of those girls in anime that just goes like, like that's kind of what they sound like when they speak English. That's really what I think, by the way. So not sure what you mean, but thank you so much for the donation.
the employing company has to wait, let the job sit for 6 months.
And when it comes to raising the fees and tightening the rules, there has been a lot of criticism.
They want to...
Actually, hold on. Speaking of that, do you think Japanese rules are hard? Like, do you think there are so many rules in Japan? No and yes. Like, I wanted to talk about this because I keep hearing this word, rural. A little bit? Justified. Some are stupid, yeah. Till come to the Singapore. Yeah, the thing is, like, what I wanted to say is, so here, you know what, like this, exactly this is like what I wanted to hear. I don't think so, but hidden rules maybe. Do you think it's like a thing only in Japan that there are rules? What do you think? Immigration is just a pain. So what I wanted to say is like there are things that exist in every country, but just because like they are they exist in Japan, suddenly Japan kind of like gets mentioned a lot too. So like, for example, what if I told you I thought there are way too many rules in the States and I couldn't get used to it? Every time I go to America, it feels like I'm doing everything wrong. What if I told you that? It's basically called different cultures. I wanted to mention this because like nobody really mentions it in Japan. Like everybody thinks Japan is a country that has like a lot of rules, like tipping. Yeah, like tipping, and I didn't know like I was supposed to like do this and that. Like for example, I didn't know I cannot wear some certain colors like outside and whatever. That's like some unspoken rule, and you apparently learn it at school in the States, especially if you're in California. I didn't know anything about it. Yeah, like there are some like hidden rules in Japan where you cannot do some certain things, but you guys have things like that everywhere too. Gang colors, yeah. If you're in California, you cannot wear red and blue, because that's like a gang color, right? Yeah, certain colors, yeah. Like if you wear like red in America, in California, that means you're from I forget the gang name actually, but Crips and Bloods, right? I didn't know about it. And I was like, nice. And then, what else? You're not supposed to talk about their appearance in the States. They're not supposed to say like, oh, like, you have a big nose. That's that too. And, what else? You're not supposed to talk about, but there's like so much. And then, I'm not supposed to raise my hand at a restaurant, but that's something I learned when I was 20. And then I not supposed to. Like, there's like a lot of rules I had to again like you get used to, right? But just because like there are rules in Japan, people get like so shocked, I guess, because for Japanese people, again, like when Japanese people go to the West, they get shocked by how there are different rules, but I mean, we just kind of try to get used to it too, right? Please that's not all I love California. Yeah, I'm just, again, like, just listing all the things, like, I had to learn. And I'm talking about that, like, as an example, because I just wanted you guys to know how there are some rules in America you guys are aware of, but Japanese people are not aware of, right? And I'm not saying, like, oh, yeah, you cannot wear this in the entire country. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, there are rules, right? You get it, right? Like, there are rules,
You're
right?
not supposed to raise hand in a restaurant?
No, like, you cannot really just call the waiter saying, like, hey, that's what I mean. Like, sumimasen, like, can I order? Like, that. I cannot do that in America, but in Japan you have to do it, right? So what I wanted to say is, as much as like a lot of you guys think like there are so many rules in Japan, it's the same for Japanese people. Like, we have to learn everything from scratch, and basically rules exist everywhere. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. So what I wanted to say is, I get it, there are many rules, but Japanese people struggle a lot too in the States too. Like, every time I go to America, I freaking struggle a lot. And I didn't know, like, if you get stopped by a police officer, like, you cannot really, like, move much. You cannot really do much because they might actually shoot you and stuff. That's obvious for you guys, right? But for me, it's, like, it's new. You know what I mean? And I'm wearing this gaming freaking thing because I'm a try-hard computer user. Have no rules compared to Japan. That's because you're used to it. Let me tell you something. No man, Western countries have no rules compared to Japan because you are used to it. Because for Japanese people, we kind of feel like there are no rules because we are used to it. It's because you something grew up with there. Then you kind of go like, oh, isn't that what everybody does? But then for Japanese people, it's probably not something they're used to. And then they just go like, really, you do this? That's what I mean. For Japanese people, if you're not in Kyoto's like one example where people just go like, what the fuck? If you're in Kyoto, then sure. But other than that, a lot of Japanese people kind of think there really aren't a lot of rules we have to follow, right? That's what we believe. But then when like foreigners come to Japan, they kind of know this, like, wait, I cannot do this. Then again, I felt the same in America too, because you are not used to that culture. And again, I'm used to the culture in Japan. Plus, I feel like I kind of feel free here. And then I don't feel the same way in the States because I didn't grow up there. And there are like so many things I cannot do, I don't know. Thus, I feel so restricted. You know what I mean? But it's something like you'll like actually eventually realize if you go to like different countries and stuff, like you just kind of go like, oh, that's what that is for them. You know what I mean? Sora bully in Kyoto. It's more like I got bullied in Kyoto, but
make it at least look like they have taken money from the foreigners who are perceived as a problem to.
The problem is Japanese pretend like rules don't exist. Fish in the water stitch. Let me actually talk about something. Americans act like like rules don't exist either. We just kind of like saw the actual like proof here. Some of you guys kind of said like, oh, there are no rules in America, but again, it's just how it is.
You need to say,
right?
Excuse me, when you come too close to someone.
Yeah.
You should open doors or hold doors open for other people.
Yes. That's an American thing. Japanese people don't keep the doors open for you, and Americans think that's rude. Yes. I didn't do it. I had to learn it. I had to learn it like myself. In Japan, you don't have to do it. Like rather, you kind of get awkward, so you don't really do it. And saying "excuse me" when you come too close to people, we just kind of act like nothing happened, because talking to people itself is kind of awkward. In the States, in America, you have to. You are supposed to, like, basically let people know that like you know they exist, right? That's really different here in Japan. We don't do that. I had to learn that there. But you know what I mean? Then again, you think like there's like no culture. You know what I mean? It's something you are not used to, so you just go like, "Holy fuck, I'm supposed to do that." I'm like, fuck. You don't have to. What? No. People think it's rude in the States, right? People definitely think it's rude. In Japan, nobody cares because nobody does that here, right? Like so, like I don't really know. I don't really know why it's a thing where like people like especially Americans, like some of you guys think like there are no rules, but we have to like learn things there too. I find in Japan there are so many people flowing with that door essentially stays open. Tokyo anyway. Maybe, yeah. People care for no reason here. It's again the cultural difference too. In America, like you are supposed to pay attention to other people, and in Japan we don't do it. We kind of pay attention to ourselves. Do you know what? Like there's like this concept like that shocked me when I went to America. So there's like this female friend I have in America, right? I was talking to her, and then she told me this one phrase which shocked me as a Japanese person. So then, like, I forget what the conversation was about, but she started saying something like, oh yeah, I try to make sure if everybody's like doing fine, like outside, I just try to make sure, people are having like, good time and stuff. And I'm like, really? Like, I was like, really? I never hear that in Japan. I never hear people saying like, oh yeah, it's try to make sure if people are doing fine. I'm like, people in America try to watch other people. Like basically like you want to be like, I guess like more aware of like how people are doing. That concept, right? That shocked me too. That's like a cultural difference too. Doing fine what context, but basically like how people are like, let's say like so let me just phrase it this way. People in the States, in the West, you guys care about like how other people are doing a lot more, right? In Japan, we don't really. That's why people care so much about themselves rather than the common good. So Americans care about what other people are doing. Thus, they would actually reach out to other people if other people seem to be doing bad, right? Like saying like, hey, you good? That's something you don't hear in Japan. In Japan, you are supposed to worry about what you are doing in society, so you kind of focus on yourself. For example, like I was actually talking about this. Japan is like one of the countries where you can do whatever, and if you are not causing problems, they don't care. They don't stop you, right? They don't stop you. Like let's say you are wearing whatever that's cringe. People don't stop you in Japan at all. They don't care, right? Because you're doing like that. You're keeping it to yourself. And you're not committing a crime, you are not causing problems. So if you're keeping it to yourself, they don't care. In the States, people kind of just care about other people too. Like they just kind of work, with other people, like, I don't know how to phrase it, so that what happens is, like, if there are people that are being cringy, even though they are not causing problems, Americans tend to say, like, yo, you gotta stop that, more than Japanese people, even though it's not really like a crime. You know what I mean? So basically, the concept is, like, in the West, this is not like only an American thing. In Japan, they focus on themselves a lot more, and we don't really pay attention to what other people are doing. Look at what people are doing in Japan, Tokyo. They never talk to random strangers, ever. Then, in the States, well, like in the West, including Europe too, they do definitely care about what other people are doing. For sure. That's something I noticed, right? But isn't you who decides whether what you are doing is causing problems? In Japan, like the boundaries, like whether you're causing problems to the point where other people are like threatened, I guess. But yeah, I guess the boundary is like not really clear. But in Japan, people would definitely say like, yo, you gotta stop
Sora,
that more.
if you invite Kirito to your home, would you offer him something to drink or eat?
Kirito. Yes, thank you so much for the donation. Social stigma-ish, yeah. What I wanted to say here is like I want you guys to know that cultures are different in each country, and there are different rules in each country, and it's not just like only Japan that's different. I really want everybody to know about this, right? Negative gossiping okay in Japan? No. It's never okay in any countries. People do it everywhere knowing it's not something acceptable, right? Nobody really says like, oh yeah, that's a great thing. But you know about that, right?
How can anyone read the room within paying attention to other people? In the US, the expression is getting the gauge or checking the temperature.
So how can anyone read the room, right? It's about like basically knowing what's bad in the culture. That's what that is, because that culture exists in the States too. For example, so like in Japan, like for example, like let's say, you know, Kukiom is basically this. So I'm here, right? I'm here, and then this is like let's say like whoever, like a Japanese person, and I say like, hey, would you like to hang out with me like next week? This person says like, oh, you know, maybe sometime in the future. By the way, sometime in the future in Japanese means I'm busy. I don't want to do it. So then you are supposed to go like, oh, okay, I got it. Thank you so much. So that's basically reading the room, right? Not reading the room is like, oh wait, sometime in the future, really? Like how? When? Basically not figuring out that means no, right? But that culture does exist a lot of in a lot of like different countries too. Like for example, there are some certain phrases they use to say no, right? I cannot really think of like a great example too. Like any cultural things where you know what it means if you know about the culture, but if you're not from that culture, it means something different. Like that thing. That's basically what reading the room is kind of about too. Like figuring out what the person really means with that statement, but it's because there's some cultural things in it, in what they're saying. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? Smelling seem as weird in Japan. Yes. We all straight up say no. Yeah. That's a thing too. But some people kind of act like, you know, they like you and stuff too. That's a thing everywhere, in every country. If I don't want to go somewhere, I just say I can't go because X or yeah, Americans tend to do it a lot more. That's definitely a thing. I do that with Westerners actually. But yeah, anyways, let me just go back to the video too. But so the point here I wanted to talk about is different cultures exist in each country. And it's not really like a Japan is the only country that has like a lot of rules, or like Japan is the only country that has like different rules. It's just that even for Japanese people, getting used to like different rules in different countries itself, it can be hard from my experience. I went to America and I thought there were some unspoken rules and I went like, oh, right? And then I went to Canada and there were some unspoken like hidden rules and I went like, oh, right? But yeah, anyways.
Japan right now. Although I think a lot of Japanese who have heard this news don't realize the fees that she has increased on a lot of these work visa types will impact Japan's economy. Some projections say as much as 1 to 3% of economic growth is lost because of labor shortages that could be fixed if Japan accepted more foreign workers.
To be fair, raising the fees
Japan turns to foreign bus drivers. Okay.
not necessarily bad if the increase of the revenue by the
I honestly didn't know like they were foreign bus drivers. This is something I just learned about. I seriously didn't know about this, and I don't know why this picture was used. It's like one of the pictures that you use for memes, like me, playing Mario Kart. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a picture you use for memes. I mean, make a great meme, everybody. Wait, just do the meme thing. Say me doing whatever. If you come out with the best meme, I'm gonna freaking pin you. Japanese commenters going crazy. This? Me being a bus driver on low salary. That's not even the meme. That's just a reality. Me on the news. Me when poop. What? Me when I take your gerb. Me driving home on the freeway after drinking 27 beers. Sure. I mean, that might like be the best meme ever, actually.
To be fair, raising the fee is not necessarily bad if the increase of the revenue by the would be used for more budget to
For a social engagement, Americans will make up a BS reason rather than say, no. The classic is women saying they are washing their hair that day.
What I know is Americans definitely. So like again, there's like a no, yes and no thing in any countries, right? So like again, people are different, and there are like different people too, which is kind of obvious too. Americans tend to be more straightforward, and it's definitely easier to see what Americans are trying to say compared to how Japanese people deal with things, because Japanese people care more about basically dealing with things peacefully, not causing any problems, not conflicting with people. You know what I mean? They just try to deal with things without making people angry and stuff. In the States, yeah, people might say different things like, oh, I'm washing my hair. But the thing is, like, they don't mind showing their emotions, and they don't act angry, or they don't mind acting more uncomfortable compared to Japanese people. You might be confused, right? Let me explain. I'm gonna do something here. This is how Japanese girls might say no. Yeah. I actually have to work tomorrow, so like, I'm kind of busy. I'm really sorry for that. Thank you. That, right? This is how Americans might say no, using that same kind of language. Like, you know what? Like, I got things tomorrow, like, I gotta wash my hair. So like, I have no time. Thanks. It's obvious. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. They might say like, oh yeah, you know, I got things tomorrow. Like, on the very surface level, it's like the same thing, but it's more obvious when Americans do it. It's so obvious to me. Like, yeah, that's like, you know, like a fake whatever thing is definitely a thing, but Americans are so obvious to me. Like, I never really had any problems like trying to figure out what Americans are trying to say with their body language and stuff, right? I gotta think, yeah, it's so obvious. But yeah, they do say the same thing. But with Japanese people, it can be hard if you don't know the Japanese culture. Because like when Japanese people do like, yeah, I have something going on tomorrow, like I'm sorry. Like, I know it means no, specifically. Because if Japanese people are really, really interested in that, they might say, oh, let me know if there's next time. That's the key. If they say something like, oh, let me know if there's like next time, that means they really have something going on tomorrow, but I want to still hang out with you. That's what it means, right? So, but it's seriously all about learning the culture, really, right? And I had to do it. I had to learn different cultures about Philippines, India, Canada, America, France, Sweden. I've been doing that forever, but yeah.
speed up the process, but it's quite skeptical that's gonna actually happen.
I do not think that's what's gonna happen. Apply for the
I
visa,
gotta
gets
watch my grass
approved, then
grow.
you
Thank you so much for the
receive the new residence card. That's when you have to pay by revenue stamp. There is required revenue stamps in many legal procedures. The revenue from the revenue stamp coming from many doors. There is no way for them to.
Why do they just say no in anime then? Yeah, because we do Kamehameha. You know what? I'm gonna pin you. Do you know why people say no in anime? Because we do Kamehameha, we do wrestling, and we fly around. There's like some aliens like flying around, and you know how if you just like do like this and just go like ha, you can see some glowing ball of energy and whatever. Yeah, that definitely happens. That's kind of why in anime, you know, people say no. You know what I mean? You know how if you watch like Avengers, like people are freaking flying around and people are doing this and that. You know what I mean? 英語オンリーな感じ。どうしてもこういう系の配信だとね、ちょっと英語オンリーになってしまう。習慣というか文化の話。
count how much people spend on revenue stamp in regards to immigration procedures. That's why we are very skeptical. We definitely need more.
Difference between US, Australia, Canada. I can talk about that too.
Difference between US, Aus, Canada in behavior.
So this is not, again, I want you guys to know, this is not really like the reality of how things are, but this is more about how a Japanese person sees it, right? US, Australians, Americans, Australians, and Canadians. I'm going to talk about from my experience talking to Australians, Canadians, and American people. So Americans are probably the friendliest, and Americans are the most straightforward, and Americans are loudest, and Americans are the ones that tend to be, I like this, if you don't like it, fuck you. Americans tend to say that more than everybody else compared to like Australians and Canadians. Americans have like that mentality of like, if I like this and that's the best, and if you don't like that, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's an American thing. And if you say anything like bad about like what the American person likes, for example, this American person likes Pokemon, and you just say something like, I don't really like Pokemon, I don't know why it's good, this American guy actually will hate you. It's not even like, oh, okay, you don't like Pokemon, that's fine. They never say it. It's more like, what the fuck, you don't like that? Fuck you then. That's an American thing. Australians are more like, they are trolls and they tend to be memers somehow. I don't know why that is. And they do like pee-pee poo-poo jokes more than other nationalities, from my experience. There's like some Australians like I hang out with, and they all talked about penis and ass like once every 10 seconds. That might be because my friends in Australia. And they are the ones like that are really, really harsh with like friendly insults. Like Americans might say like, are you asshole? But Australians like definitely just actually attack you a lot more with words, but you are supposed to take it lightly too, because that's how they roll in Australia, I guess. And Australians are more open to different things. Like you can say like, oh yeah, like, you know, if I say like, oh, I don't like Pokemon, they will be like, oh, you don't like Pokemon? What the fuck, bro? But they actually don't take it that seriously. That's from my experience. Canadians are really close to Japanese people in many ways. They are more open to different things, but they definitely have like the tatemae honne thing. Like basically like they might act nice, but they might have opinions about you like behind the scenes a lot more compared to other people. So like Canadians can be the best friends with Japanese people out of like those three in terms of like how similar they are to Japanese people. But again, that's from my experience. How about Philippines? They like to talk about Boku no Pico, and they like to say, have you ever watched Boku no Pico? Once every 20 minutes.
Budget in the immigration office to...
Again, this is not about a fact. It's more about what I experienced myself, talking to people from those countries, right?
If you're American and you don't like American football, insert surprised Pikachu face.
Then like Americans usually say like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? Right?
A very big difference is donating to charities.
Yeah, right.
The
Yes,
Japanese
yes,
rarely
yes,
donate
yes,
and object
yes,
it.
yes,
This is a general
yes,
comment about
yes,
Japanese, and my
yes,
Japanese wife always
yeah.
objects to donating to charity.
What you're talking about is basically caring about other people in the States, right? That's what you're talking about. We never donate to charities. I got so shocked when I saw like so many Americans donating to charities. I got so shocked. Because in Japan, that's kind of, it's rare. But in America, people do it a lot there. Really? Yes. That's the thing. There's like this guy friend I have, his name is Methodical. He would donate to charities, right? But that's like an American thing, right? And in Japan, we don't really do it, I guess, because it's more about like saving up like ourselves and stuff too. Don't care about others. Compared to Americans, no. Yeah. Compared to Americans, no. Because the thing is here, like if you say, oh, Japanese people don't care about others, it's not the black and white situation. Like it's the same thing as like talking about autism. It's not like you have autism and you don't have autism. It's like you are a bit autistic, you're mildly autistic, you're autistic, you're heavily autistic. It's that thing. Do Japanese people care about other people compared to Americans? No. Does that mean they don't actually care? No. It's basically like a, the scale, like this I care about people scale. Americans might be like 8 out of 10. Japanese people might be like 4 out of 10, right? To the point where they kind of sort of like care, but they don't really do anything, right? One's more like, I'm gonna do what I do. I don't care. Fuck. That basically kind of stuff, yeah. Donations do happen in Japan, but it's not common. It's very rare. It's very rare compared to America. I got shocked by how Americans actually donate a lot to charities compared to Japanese people. Like, I was like, why would you do it? And then again, because in America you were supposed to do it, right?
I was told it was because the Japanese expect the person's community to care for the person.
I think it's just simply because Japanese people tend to save up a lot more than Americans. That's what I think, but I don't honestly know. But thank you so much for the donation, yeah. I honestly don't know. But one thing I wanted to say is I got shocked when I first learned Americans do donate to charities a lot. And it's not even like a little bit. It's actually a lot of money. I was like, wow, like $300. But yeah.
Make everything faster, but we are not sure how they collect those money. And the tough part is the foreigners do not have a say in regards to how government spends. Foreigners do not have a voting right.
Even that aside, many foreign residents find it really hard to feel belonged as a part of the society, since many people in Japan don't even distinguish tourists and long-term foreign residents.
The tourist visiting for a week and the person who has spent 40 years contributing to Japanese society are not the same thing. One of the mistakes being made right now is treating all foreigners as one giant undifferentiated category.
A general outlook that foreigners are one type of foreigner. All foreigners go into one box that says foreigner written on it. I think it's very hard to be here as anything except a guest.
And no matter how hard you try, becoming Japanese and accepted in a society.
To be Japanese, socially speaking, you're ethnically full Japanese, culturally full Japanese, linguistically full Japanese. You have only Japanese nationality. Yeah, true. Yeah. 留学とかしてなくて。でも俺、英語を話しながら育ってるから、なんだろうね。周りが外国人だけだったから、なんだろうね。それは持ちます。おつです。
Seems impossible here.
I know as a foreigner here, I know how hard it is to be Japanese. And I also know that after living here for 4 years...
I'm actually kind of curious. Like, I do ask this question once in a while. Do you guys want to be Japanese? Like, do you want to just lose who you are and be Japanese? No? Yeah, like, let's say, like, I really like, let's say, America. I don't want to be American. I still want to be Japanese. Hell yeah, I'm a weeb, yeah, right? So like, when I hear this, I do get surprised by how like this gets mentioned even once. Nationality or ethnically. So like, if you were born in Japan and if you think you're Japanese and because you only speak Japanese and you talk about Japanese things, like that makes sense, right? Because you're Japanese. But I've been seeing things like where I guess people come to Japan and people start talking about how they can never be Japanese in Japan. And I'm like, do you want to be Japanese in Japan where you are not Japanese? You know what I mean? 環境大事だろうね。思う、本当にそれは。Virtual brains more doable. They have small chin-chin. Sure. I just want to be human. Yeah, like, sometimes, like, I get curious. Like, maybe you guys want to be Japanese in Japan?
If I reincarnate, yes.
Yeah, like, that makes sense to me. Like, I really never understood the concept of like being Japanese in Japan when you are not Japanese. Because like, let's say if I'm a foreigner, I want to be a foreigner in Japan. Like, I would probably just want to be like myself from like that country outside of Japan. I don't suddenly want to become Japanese just because I like Japan. You know what I mean? I'm Japanese, by the way. I'm Japanese. スペイン語少しとポルトガル。すげえ。While foreigners might have a hard time integrating into Japanese society, their children and grandchildren who grew up in Japan will be far more Japanese. True, maybe, yeah. You can be Chinese American in Canada, you'll be Japanese Canadian eventually. The thing is, like, yeah, I guess, like, you can, immigrate and become an immigrant in, like, let's say the States or Canada. But you still kind of are, like, I guess, if you're Chinese, like, you really are Chinese in America, maybe. I don't think they fully have, like, the American #1 mentality. If they were born in China and if they grew up in China, I don't know, actually. This is something I can never talk about because I don't know what it's like for them. I'm just kind of guessing things. Maybe it's different for them in America, maybe. I don't know. You'd be surprised. Yeah, maybe it's different for them in America and Canada because, like, the cultures there are way different. It's something I can never imagine, right? I'm American than people, okay. Then I guess it's different there. So that they have, like, the culture there, and then they go to Japan, and they maybe try to have that culture too, but it doesn't work, and they get shocked, maybe? I think that's what that is. Then suddenly it makes sense. Coke Zero makes me literally sick. Yeah, this is something I drink just because I want to feel more American. We respect young James. He's cool. By the way, he was streaming the other day. He was making food. He was streaming, right? Are you 27? I'm 34. He was streaming, so I left a comment saying nice food and he ignored me. He ghosted me. What do I do? How can I slide in his DMs and say, like, hey, do you want to go out? Like, what can I do? He can make food, yeah. He makes food. This guy's actually chill. Like, even though he's not like a very huge content creator, I still do believe he's like one of the most respected content creators ever. Like, on YouTube, as an American that talks about Japan. He is really rare, like, who kind of achieved this. You know how there's like a lot of content creators in Japan that talk about Japan? They do have like some sort of like a, you know, haters and whatever too. I think he's like one of the very few cases where he kind of talks about Japan and he actually has like so much respect from like other people as a person who just kind of talks about Japan. Weird impression. I still do think he's a very decent human being. I saw a lot of his videos too. Yeah, he's very decent. Yeah. He doesn't really teach English. Yeah. Haven't seen much. You can just watch him too, and like he has like very decent like perspectives. He has like you know, like Japan's Japan, America's America, they are different, and in Japan there's and it all makes sense too from my perspective. And even in Japan, some people think he's like really amazing too. Like he's like a role model American to me. Like I want to be like him. If he blocked you, no, he knows about me. He actually said like he is down to do a collab with me at some point on my channel. So I tried to reach out to him, and he didn't notice my comment basically. But yeah, anyways. What's the name? Young James. This guy is actually really, he's really decent. And he's well liked by other people. Because of like how he, you know, sees things. Right?
I don't want to be Japanese. Because it's so hard. It's not me. I'm planning to go home eventually.
Japan as a society has to change its concept of what it means to be Japanese. To be Japanese shouldn't only be if your blood is 100% Japanese, because I'm sure many people who think that they're Japanese are probably mixed with some sort of Asian race as well. And we need to expand that umbrella.
Even Japanese people, ethnically Japanese people who have lived abroad or something, they're not considered as Japanese as the people.
Yeah, like me. Just because I grew up in Japan and I speak English, they think I'm freaking half Japanese. I don't care about that. I kind of think that's cool when Japanese people say it. Because when Japanese people say it, like, they kind of go like, wow, like, you are so multicultural. Yeah, like, dude, I've been in Japan forever. I've never really lived, like, abroad even once, but just because, like, I grew up with foreigners and I speak English, some Japanese people think I'm half, like, you know, Japanese and whatever. But I think that's cool that way, too. They think you're a foreigner. If I'm speaking English, yeah. But at the same time, again, like, I think it's cool. Because I can actually prove like how much of a Japanese person I am with my Japanese passport. Well, like if I speak Japanese, then they'll just go like, oh, okay, you were just a Japanese person that speaks English really well. So I actually don't mind it. They just kind of think like I went to like American university and whatever, and they do think that's cool, but that's something I've never done. I've been saying this too. People think I'm a genius in Japan. People think I'm really, really talented and smart, even though I'm not. Like, I know for sure. People in Japan think I'm smart and a genius just because I speak English and Japanese both, and that's it. Like, people think I'm a prodigy, and I'm like, that's nice. How did you learn English? I grew up speaking English and Japanese since I was like 6, because I grew up with like foreigners in Japan, but I went to like a normal Japanese school too. So by your skill set, but again, like that's what I mean. People get surprised just because I speak English and Japanese. That's it, right? But the reality is like it's very normal. Like it's if you actually look at Sora Troll as a person, he's not really smart. He's not really like skillful. He cannot really do much. But Japanese people think Sora Troll is like that one genius because he speaks English and Japanese, and they just go like, what the fuck? He must have studied a lot, but I didn't, right? What's your TOEFL? I've never taken any English tests. I've never taken any Japanese tests. Do Japanese people think you have to be smart to learn a second language? Yes. Because you know how a lot of people in Japan, like they learn English, but they cannot really speak English, right? You know what I mean? Did you hurt your arm? It's a gaming arm sleeve. This is like it's the gamer thing, yeah. So you would pass an English test maybe, but I've never really taken it because why would I have to take it? Like why would I have to prove I speak English to you guys here? You know what I mean? Because I don't work for Japanese people in English. So like that makes no sense. What I need is like how much Japanese I can teach you guys, right? So maybe I need like a JLPT whatever certification as a Japanese person, maybe? So that I can actually explain Japanese to you. Like I don't have to prove I speak English to you guys. So I've never really taken any English tests, right?
People who lived here their whole life. So it makes you think like, wow, it's not even just about how you look.
Even though I do have a Japanese citizenship, because I grew up in the States for a pretty long time, I also do value American values such as like maybe being more open. And I feel like that created like not like people like actually discriminating me, but I could feel the invisible barrier between us.
Actually, when I first came here, I was really surprised at how similar everything was. From the outside, when you're not really interacting with Japanese people, you're like, oh, this is kind of the same. It's just safer and cleaner. But then when I actually tried to make some Japanese friends, tried to become part of some Japanese social groups, that was shocking. Just in the way that people communicate. Even if you speak the Japanese language, kind of the tatemae. I got really depressed for a while living in Japan, trying to hang out with Japanese people. I don't want to be in the gaijin bubble. I don't want to just have the gaijin friends. I want to actually be friends with the Japanese people. And I realized how difficult it was.
Oh, by the way, there's a way to hang out with people in Japan, and like they will actually want to hang out with you. Dude, can I actually talk about something? Do you want to hang out with Japanese people and like actually be friends with Japanese people? Do you know how to do it? I'm gonna tell you something because it works for me, and that's kind of why I grew up with foreigners in Japan. Video games, that's one of the things, yes. That's one of the things. If you play video games with Japanese people, they want to play video games because they want to. VR chat? No. I mean, that's sure. Like, if you are talking about how to make friends, yeah, VR chat works really well. But I'm talking about, like, how you can actually find that friend who's really, really interested in you that they want to hang out with you. Right? Going to the bars? No. So, if you want to find a friend who wants to actually hang out with you a lot, then you want to find the people that like you, or that's interested in you. So how do you find people that are interested in you? How, everybody? How do you do it? I know the definite answer because that's what I did, and that's kind of how I made a lot of foreign friends when I was like 18. Bar? Talk to them? No. You show dick pics? What? Join a community. That's one thing, yes. That's one thing. So the easiest way to find the people that are interested in you, to find the people that are interested in your country, period, If I want to make foreign friends that want to hang out with me, I would look for people that want to talk to Japanese people, right? のバグルダシとか和製英語。どうなんだろう? So like, if you want to find Japanese people and if you want to hang out with Japanese people and if you want to have like that one Japanese friend, find the people like that really, really like your country. Then it's gonna be easy from that because like they want to hang out with you more because they're interested in your country, right? What about Hello Talk? I mean, meeting people, I'm not talking about like which place works the best, but I still think VR chat is like the best place too. But what I'm talking about here is like, if you want to have like that actual friend who wants to hang out with you, like find the people that like your country. That's what I did with Americans. I went for like the people that like Japan anime, right? I did the on my channel. Isn't that obvious? Like you guys watch me because it's not like you guys thought like, you know, there's like this guy or anything. You guys decided to watch me because I talk about Japan or like I'm Japanese and I talk about Japanese things and I show Japanese things, and that's really it. People here are interested in Japanese things, right? Isn't that kind of obvious? ダッシュのとこスプリント。本当? ああ、確かにね。確かに。So, I think that's like the easiest way to make people come back to you, right? So if you ever want to make friends that are interested in like that actually want to hang out with you, yeah, meeting people is fine too, but actually find the people that like your country. That's the best way, like really, right? It's common sense. It is kind of common sense, like as in it's something not that crazy. It's not really like a secret, but it's more like, yeah, everybody kind of knows about this, but come to think of it, that's the best way, right? So like, let's say if you want to make Japanese friends and you want to actually, you know, talk to and whatever too, then what you can do is like maybe you can play VR chat, maybe you can play Valorant, you can play whatever, and then somehow try to find a group that really, really like your country. Let's say you're from Philippines. Find the people that want to go to the Philippines, find the people that really like Filipino people, then they'll try to talk to you more, they'll want to hang out with you more because they like your country, right?
If you're Australian, Canadian, American but you are Asian biologically, wouldn't they be disappointed or confused?
Some might be, because like when Japanese people think of like Australians, Canadians, Americans, they might think of like white people or black people. So yeah, they might be confused a little bit too. But if you can prove that you're from there, they're not gonna be confused, because if they want to be friends with Australians, Canadians, Americans, they just are interested in how it is in your country, right? They either want to learn your English, like Australian English, or Canadian English, or they just want to know the culture from you. They just want to act like, it's not they want to act like, they want to learn things about your country. So like, the part how you are Asian can kind of like confuse them a little bit too, but if you can like fully prove that you are 100% from there, you don't know anything about like other countries, then yeah, they just go like, oh, nice. Like, I want to know more about Australia. Let's play this game. Let's go to that karaoke. The reason why I know about this is simply because it's from my experience, and I've seen some people who made a lot of friends here. There's like this American guy that's really, really popular with Japanese people. This guy, again, went for the American market in Japan. He basically showed up at all the American festivals and whatever, and he basically made friends there. Because the people, Japanese people that show up at American-related festivals are Americaboos. So they want to talk to American people, right? So...
Many people say this has been quite concerning, as they worry that unfairly fueling anti-foreigner sentiments and suspicion.
やっぱこうゼロプラン出てきたじゃないですか。になると、一人一人を理解する前に、なんかこういう人多いんじゃないとかっていうふうに、まずその偏見から入っちゃう、ルールを守らない外国人みたいな感じで、全てをごちゃごちゃにしちゃうんで。
America is hated by you, not by Japan. So America is hated. I don't think so. Actually, we can talk about that here, because like that got mentioned too. Do you think America is hated by Japan, everybody? Do you think there are so many Japanese people that hate America? What do you think? I think it's like important. ロシアオタク楽しそうだけどね。No? Not by Japan, yeah. Not by Japan. If you think Japan hates America, that's really, really interesting. Exact opposite, yeah. I don't think they are. No, Japanese people are really, 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 really into American culture. It's insane. Yeah. Like, and the thing is, like, Americans might be hated in Europe, for example. Like, if you go to, like, France, maybe, I don't know. Or if you go to, like, the UK, maybe, I don't really know. If you go to China, maybe. If you go to India, maybe, I don't really know. But Japan, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Like, for example, there's like wait. In what city, like, they sell clothes in Japan a lot? It's not Takeshita. Fuck, where's the, like, a thrift shop place in Japan? Wait, can you guys tell me where that is? Fuck. No. Shimokita, yeah, Shimokita. So there's like this place called Shimokitazawa. Shimokitazawa is basically the place like where there's like a lot of thrift shops and they sell clothes and everything too. What if I told you there are some like random American flags like that show up and like things are in English because they think being American's cool. It's so influenced by America here, even though there's like no Americans. There's no Americans. There's like no nothing. There's like no American history going on. But people randomly try to look American here. Like, look at this. You know what I mean? And it's supposed to be like a place where people sell clothes. Little America. It's not even like Little America. People know it as like a thrift shop place, like where they have like clothes everywhere. You suddenly start seeing like American flags, whatever too. But it's not just only a thing only in this city. Even in my area too. Even in Chiba. Like. There's like a lot of American influence you can see in Japan. Like if you come to Japan and if you go to some certain places, you kind of notice that America isn't hated in Japan. Like there's a lot of influence you can see. And like this kind of stuff too, right? Osaka's literally like, maybe, yeah, Osaka is kind of same, yes. The only place where people say, yeah, I don't like Americans. There's like some certain place where people hate Americans, which is here. And it's not even like, I watched videos. I saw them actually talking shit about Americans in this place. It's called Okinawa. Yeah, there's like this huge American base here. Kadena, right? They shoot guns and they fly things and they do whatever because like the American base is here and they hate Americans. They really hate Americans around here. I saw so many restaurants, basically, with the notice of like no foreigners, but what they mean is like no Americans. But that's because of the history, right? Yeah, it's because of the history. You weren't born in Chiba. I was born in apparently Wakayama, but yeah. But so what I wanted to say is Americans are definitely more well-liked in Japan. Like, people will start opening up a lot more to you once you say, like, oh, I'm from Okinawa. Not Okinawa, no. I'm from America. Like, yeah, they definitely like Americans. Vulnerable without the base, yeah. It's not like everybody hates Americans. For sure. It's kind of like, again, like, there are different people, too. So it's not like everybody hates Americans. There are some people that are really, really into Americans, too. But this is, like, the island where I saw American haters the most in Japan so far, like compared to other places. But because of the history, it's because of like what happened in the history and how, America versus Japan thing really happened here, right? So old people have problems, right? But it doesn't mean everybody hates Americans, right? I already saved Shimokitazawa. If you want to go to Shimokitazawa just because like there's a lot of American related things, I mean, it's the same everywhere in Japan, honestly, if you want to see American things. Like, for example, I don't know, just come to Japan and say, like, oh, yeah, I'm from America. Then people suddenly start opening up a lot more. Especially if you speak Japanese, by the way.
ってくると、もう外国人は出ていけみたいな形で、深刻な差別とかを最近やっぱり受ける人は増えてると思います。
Since we can't visually tell who's overstaying or not, it's often based on suspicion or prejudice, and that's why it might be affecting all foreigners whether they follow the law or not.
The program will also intimidate foreign workers who are properly employed.
Can I pretend to be American? By the way, if you can speak American English well, that's something you can probably do to travel in Japan, maybe. It's not illegal. If you speak American English, you can probably say, oh yeah, I'm American. Then maybe they might treat you suddenly like a bit nice too, maybe? That's my, honestly, you know what? This is just fake information. This is fake information. This is just what I randomly thought. Thinking how Japanese people like America, or Americans. That might kind of go well. That's kind of what I thought, but I don't know if it's really true. I don't know. So if you ever come to Japan, you just have to say like, I like burgers, I like pizza. Yeah, like, I shoot guns. Like, I shoot things, bro. Then maybe they treat you nice.
The reporting mechanism relies on...
You know, I don't know. This is what I was waiting for. I don't know. Maybe it's just my experience, but that kind of American love is just reserved only for the white American. You know what? I was waiting for that. So, because that's actually one of the things I like to talk about, simply because there's like this person that looks exactly like this. Is he white? Everybody? Is he white? What do you think? Is he white? Is he white? Is he white? No? Yeah, he's not white. What do you think he's experiencing in Japan? Is he Chinese? Yeah, he's Chinese maybe. Yeah. Yeah, right? So he's Mexican. He's actually American, but he is like, he's an Mexican American, right? 吉見インタビュー回答出演してないと思う。So フィリピン語りにそう。No, he's actually a Mexican American. What do you think he's experiencing in Japan? Yeah, he got some attention because he's American. And I've been saying this. It doesn't really matter what you look like. If you can kind of like, again, like show your Americanness to people, they kind of sense it. It doesn't matter who you are. And he is good at being American. He's good at doing like, I don't care what you think, I'm gonna do... He can do that. And, right? I look like everyone. Then, yeah. It's more about, it's seriously like some people say like, oh, if you're not white, then it's not gonna work. It doesn't matter. Like, it's just all about whether, how much American you can be. Right? Bodyguard vibes, yeah.
Suspicion. And suspicion paired with a cash incentive can look a lot like prejudice without receipt.
外国人の問題みたいなことをなんとなくこう不安を煽ってみんな不安だよね。外国人は追い出しましょう。だからゼロプランが必要です。なんだろうな、労働力も足りないって言ってるんだったら、むしろその働いて日本に税金を納めて活性化させてくれる人たちだから、今の政権の姿勢はちょっと疑問があります。
移民問題、外国人の問題に関しては国民の不安と不満がありますので、それを払拭できるようなやっぱり方向性、展望をしっかり示すということが大事だと思いますので。
Some people say, especially
Oh wait, it has nothing to do with the video, but let me actually talk about this. Your English is good enough that Americans might think you're American if you come here. So like there's like this problem. I grew up speaking English and Japanese both, right? So I don't really have problem speaking English itself. And then when I go to America, I want people to notice that I'm Japanese because there are some certain things I cannot do or I don't know when I'm in America. For example, I don't know how to eat food in America. And it makes no sense, right? It always freaking makes me go like, I don't know how to order in America. I don't know what to say. I don't know like when. I don't know. So then, if I speak English, they assume I know everything about America. No, let me explain how it goes. If I actually speak, hello, nice to meet you, they assume I'm from Japan, so they actually help me a lot more. Americans would be like, oh, yeah, if you want to order, like, you gotta go there, and you gotta do this and that. So, yeah, have fun. You're from Japan, right? That happens. If I speak like this, they're not gonna question. They'll be like, oh, like, maybe he's Japanese, but he's been in Japan for 20-something years, right? They would be like that. But in reality, I don't really have much experience in the States. So then, I go to, like, a restaurant, right? And I just go like, I don't know how to order here. What am I supposed to do? Can I just scream like, sumimasen? Excuse me? Then they just go like, what you doing? And I'm like, yeah, you know, it's my first time in America. Like, I actually like don't know how to order. And they just go like, oh, that's a great joke. And I'm like, no, I seriously don't. Dude, I went to a gas station. I wanted to buy like whatever, right? And then I wasn't sure how to pay for it. Dude, I still remember. I had it. So in Japan, we say like, can I use my credit card? Right? And so like I went to a gas station and then I just wanted to buy whatever to, and I just say like, hey, can I use my credit card? They just went like, you can? And I was like, wait, what did I say wrong? The fuck? And then he said like, 220. And I'm like, 220? Wait, 220? And he was like, 220. And I'm like, here. And I was like, wait, what does that even mean? 220? That means it's for $2.20. Now you can pay for it using your credit card. And I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? I was like, yeah, I don't know American. Every time like things like that happen, I have to like explain it to them, like saying like, yo, this is my like second time coming to the States. I literally don't know how things work. I don't know. Can you explain from scratch? I don't know. They think I'm trolling, by the way. They think I'm trolling. But yeah, it kind of doesn't work well for me sometimes. Intermediate, you just seem like a stupid person. Yeah, like they just assume I'm trolling. They just go like, the fuck, you trolling or something? Right? Yeah, I used to be, like, it's $2. In Japan, we actually say like, what we say is like, this is how it works. Like, we go to a convenience store, we just say like, hey, can I use my credit card? They say like, yeah, of course, it will be for 220 yen. Tap the card here. Boop. Thank you so much. Bye. That's how it happens, right? But then in the States, no. Like, they literally just shorten everything. You don't even say like, can I use my credit card? They say card. 220. Have a good day. That's it. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then like, I don't know how it works. So I ask them questions like, hey, how can I do this? How can I do it? I don't know how to do it. They think I'm trolling for YouTube and stuff, and they just go like, oh, dude, like, yeah, here. And I'm like, I don't know. We do say card. You just say card. Yeah. You don't even say like, hey, can I use my credit card for this? Can I pay with my credit card? We say it like that in Japan. You don't really say card in Japan, right? We abbreviate saying the sense. Yeah, that too. But yeah.
Sanseito, we want foreigners to come in here and work, but we don't want them to stay. And that's the image that sometimes Japan has.
You should just go back to your own country. A lot of foreigners have heard from Japanese people without the understanding that, in my case, as a mixed race person, for me, feeling that Japan is my country, to be told to go back to my own country, it's very tough to deal with.
And many foreigners I talk to say,
that guy is fire. Like, that's a very great way to say Japan's my home. If people say go back to your country, I would go back to Japan.
Don't even need to say anything. Just wave card.
That shocked me. I had to learn it the hard way. Yeah. But that's my favorite person. Yeah, I will say, like, if people say go back to your country, I would go back to Japan. Yeah, that's fire. That's like the best way to say it. Like, that's the best way to say like, oh yeah, that's my home. Right.
Getting married or having kids seems quite risky to them.
I think there's many things that a lot of foreigners are concerned about, whether or not they have kids with a Japanese person. If you're a foreign person and you get a divorce, how do you ensure that you get custody of the child?
Even though Japan finally introducing joint custody, many foreigners are still anxious, and some important questions remain, such as, will they actually enforce it consistently? What if they live in different countries and either one's physically separated from the kids? Will that be really fairly handled by Japanese courts? After all, the new law might not gonna make a huge difference if you're a foreigner, because
in the event of a divorce, you might be paying financially because you're a good father, but you might not be able to find the work that you need to take on that load. You might be forced by that situation to have to go back to your own country to make more money. And therefore, you're going to see your children very, very rarely. So whether joint custody is in place or not, that distance divide is very, very painful.
You have to keep that in mind, that the system isn't necessarily designed to keep you here as a foreigner. So there's a real risk that you can have a kid with somebody who's from here and never be able to see them again. That scares me, to be quite honest.
Of the 200,000 children impacted by divorce in Japan each year, 50% are said to lose all contact with one parent. On paper, the 2026 law promises a shift in custody rights, but in reality, it's a very small step forward because joint custody will still only be possible if both parents agree.
A lot of men saying, I don't want to get married because in so many situations, the father has simply come home from work and the mother and kids have left. The risk of that happening, I think, is quite high because of
川口ら辺で騒いでたのはね、配信でね、一回見に行った。やっぱり、ね、ってなってたよ。
the cultural aspect of non-conflict. This is suggested in many circles as the best way to do it without conflict.
Even if you're not gonna go through divorce and remain happy marriage, you might be still worried about your kids. They might gonna face a lot of bullies or discrimination. Even today, depending on the area.
Really? That's something I didn't know about, actually. Huh.
Area or school, it might be quite hard to avoid.
はあ、絡まれませんでした。いや、なんか別に、なんかやってんなぐらいで。
Now, I just watched a video recently by the Japan Reporter. He interviewed 2 or 3 people who just kind of casually dropped the idea that half Japanese children, like my own child, they're not really Japanese because they're half and because they don't really look Japanese. That really bothers me, obviously.
Even from a young age, I would find myself struggling to come to terms with who I really was.
So what would that half child be if they're not Japanese?
俺が一番許せないのは、ハーフの子供たちさえも、未だに日本人として受け入れられてないことだ。
いや、そんなことないだろう。ハーフなんて今の時代何も珍しくないよ。
お前は何にも分かってない。ハーフって呼んでる時点で、結局俺たちは彼らを特別扱いしてんだ。同じ日本人としては見てないんだよ。日本の国籍持ってて、日本で生まれ育って、それでも日本人として見られないなんて、そんなの残酷す。
Why so dramatic? I can actually explain that here too because I do that in Japan too. Not in Japan, on my channel too. So, if you pay attention to like what people want to watch from Japan, like you guys, for example, you want to watch, like, let's say, like when you watch anime, you guys are really into how Japanese voice actors or like Japanese actors are so passionate about like doing voices like this, and that's apparently so unique to Japan. And when we do that, it gets a lot of attention. That's what I noticed on my channel too. Like if I ever talk like, why would you say that? I don't like Pokemon. People just go like, wow, this guy is just essentially saying he doesn't like Pokemon, but it sounds fire. People usually like that, right? So that's what that is too. Yeah, I guess.
すぎんだろ。二重国籍が認められてないこの国で、彼らは幸せになれないんだ。
I would love to see Japan adopt dual citizenship. I think that's one of the gifts, their children having access to 2 different worlds. I mean, who doesn't want that for their children? You can still be loyal to both countries. I don't understand why Japan feels like you are required to pick one after a certain age.
As you know, the government doesn't actually punish you having dual nationality even after age of 22. So I personally know many half Japanese people having 2 passports, and practically it seems fine. But since the government doesn't officially recognize it yet, it might be quite hard for us to see them as the same Japanese.
If you are born to a Japanese national and a foreigner, even if you are born here in the island,
帰国して学校通ったらハーフ。俺もハーフって毎日言われるからな。もう慣れてきたな、だんだん。全然ハーフっぽい見た目してないのね。
As of so many people, you are still not Japanese. It doesn't matter whether you have a Japanese passport or you're a Japanese national or you're a permanent resident visa. It's very easy to feel very alone and very lost.
やっぱり外国人は日本にそぐわない。この国で彼らは幸せになれないんだ。どんなに外国人の数が増えたって、彼らは一生アウトサイダー。どう頑張ってもインサイダーにはなれないんだ。結局この国は何も変わらねえ。昔のままだ。結局 これ以上移民を増やしても移民にとっても日本にとってもいい結果にはならないんだ。
だったらこの国はこれからどうなるんだよ。少子化でものすごい数が毎年減ってんだぞ。移民なしで日本はやっていけんのかよ。
消滅するしかない。
Attack on Titan. Eren Yeager is like him. Dude, this guy's so good at acting. I like him. That's literally Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. What's that? What does Eren Yeager says? Like he says like something like we have to kill all the Titans. You know what I mean, right? Like Eren Yeager says something like, yeah, we have to kill all the Titans. What does he say? 巨人は殲滅してやる. Like that. No, not 戦い. No. Like 巨人は殲滅してやる. Like that thing. Like we gotta kill all the Titans. We're gonna make them go extinct. That thing, and that's like what he was doing, and I thought that was very fire. I like this dude.
嘘だろ。そんなの嘘だと言って。
Like, this is amazing. This is actually amazing. Dude, I want to do this. I might do this in the next video too. Because I'm going to do a collab with Henya and Kei-san soon. Actually, I'm doing another collab with Kaho-san and Rin-san tomorrow. And then Henya and Kei-san. Maybe I can write a script where I just make them do this. Do you want to see that?
それがこの国の運命だ。受け入れるしかない。
Like, nobody really talks like this, but you know, like, this is so fire, right? Yeah, this is fire. Dude, that part was amazing. No, I give huge props to Nobita. Dude, that's actually awesome. Nobita did a great job doing that part. That was like literally Attack on Titan. Dude. We gotta kill all the Titans. 巨人は殲滅してやる. That thing, right? I need more drama like this. Wait, do you guys want to see Kaho-san and Rin-san doing this with me tomorrow? Because I'm gonna actually stream with Kaho-san tomorrow, by the way. Here, I made the thumbnail too. Did I delete that? I'm gonna stream with Kaho-san tomorrow. Kaho-san as in like a Shibuya Kaho. Arguing with Shibuya Kaho about Japan's secrets, kind of thing. Here, this is gonna be the thumbnail. I asked her if she can stream with me. She said yes. 感動しすぎてね、涙出てきたわ. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, I'm gonna do a video with Kaho-san and Rin-san. I'm gonna make it like a lot more dramatic, saying like なんだって言うんだ. 俺が何をしたって言うんだ. I like Justin Bieber. I like it when he says baby, baby, baby. Oh, what's wrong with it? You know what I mean? Like that would be fire. I might just make Henya do it too, and Kei-san. They might be good at it. Right? Like...
この国はこれからどうなるんだよ。少子化でものすごい。
Like, that's just amazing. I don't know, I like Nobita. I like his directing skills here. That's fire. That is really fire. Yeah. Collect all the girls in your room. Dude, like, just because I've been collabing with girls, like, it kind of became a bit awkward with the girls. So I've been doing this thing where I've been just telling them that I'm not interested in getting in their, like, your pants at all, even, like, this tiny bit. I had to tell, like, Yoshimian, I'm gonna tell Kaho-san later, too. I've been just telling all the girls, because I've been just collabing with girls only, but not because I talk to girls. I've been messaging guys too, but no guys freaking reply back to me somehow. Except for Takashi. But yeah, I've been kind of saying like, hey, you know, like the fans will be like, oh yeah, Sora and you, nice date, huh? But I literally have no intention to get in your pants. I literally have no intention to, yeah, like do anything. Like I'm just, yeah, Patis, yeah. I collabed with Patis, and when we did that, I talked about like, you know what I mean? But yeah, anyways. That would get you canceled in America. Yeah, but I've been just kind of saying like, hey, I have like no intention to get close to you that way physically. Anyways, I'm gonna end the stream here, and I might just do a like short membership stream after this. Let me just read comments for 3 minutes. Then I might do a membership stream and say bye to everybody. We saw there together. That what a show you shared with me not tonight. It won't last so much longer, so I cherish every moment here tonight. I Hikari. Welcome to memberships. I do spam a lot of membership streams where I just don't do anything and I talk to viewers about nothing. You can turn off notifications. But thank you so much. Going to be taken away. I'm gonna unlist it too because this is just me reacting to a video, I guess. Even though I kind of try to make it like a podcast kind of thing, I will make it unlisted. 0 point sprite, not yet. 歌うまい、本当？ちなみにこの音楽僕です、これ。この曲は僕が作った曲です。Recap. Recap is basically cultures are different. Things are different. かっけえ、やべえ。How did you end up making a collab? He messaged me. They are nice ideas. When people message me and I think it's beneficial for both of us, I say yes, usually.
I wonder if this affects my working holiday visa.
No, it doesn't change. Because like for Japan to change anything, then it will affect Japanese people going to Australia too. They don't want that to happen. Tatakai dramatically. Tatakai! What? Which fireworks? I gotta think about it. 発音？戦いの発音？戦い！ Anyway, so I'm gonna go now. So thank you so much for watching the stream, everybody. I'm gonna stream tomorrow night in my time at 8 p.m. with Kaho-san, Shibuya Kaho. I'm gonna actually talk about it here. Stream with Kaho-san. Actually, it's gonna be like a podcast kind of thing where I have her here, not at home. It's gonna be like an online thing, and we're gonna talk about like where. We're gonna talk about how Japan really is, kind of thing. But we're gonna ask her questions, reading chat. So it's, you know, like I streamed with her once before, and it was more like I was like talking to Kaho-san, but it's more about like how Japan is and what to do to be liked by Japanese people or to be accepted by Japanese people. For example, I'm gonna actually share some of the things here too. For example, you should use slang words to be liked by Japanese people. Like true or false? My answer is true. If you say yabe, suddenly Japanese people open up a lot more. But what does she think? Because she's a professional Japanese person. I don't know if that makes any sense. So we're gonna do like this interview kind of thing where we will like reveal how to be liked by Japanese people, but from her perspective. I'm gonna ask her questions. Anyways, bye bye everybody. And this stream is gonna be unlisted. This is gonna be maybe like gone because essentially I was just reacting to this video. So bye bye everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. in Japan time if you're interested in something like this. And then if you're a member, I'll see you guys in 3 minutes. I'm gonna do like a membership stream talking about something for 40 minutes maybe. And then I'm gonna just get my work done and I have to write a script for the call or something. Bye bye everybody. This stream is gonna be up for probably like one day and then I have to delete it. Bye bye.